Hello, hello, hello. This is Miss Kim again, coming to you live from Gaborone, Botswana, a beautiful city, as we transition into a little bit of a cold weather. I hope you're enjoying your Easter weekend. We're here enjoying our Easter weekend um, as we continue on the campaign, which we are on a campaign of ensuring that we can be able to support youth in Africa, leverage on the opportunities that are presented in the space of technology, create employment, or at least be employable. So we have a program that we run at least twice annually, and we've been quite successful for the past 5 years that we've run this program, which we run STEAM education programs. We are a NetTech company. I work for Destination Imagination, and we're part of global organizations, which we draw strength from that. We learn from them. We share best practices. And of course, we customize our programs to suit the African child. So as we work with youth from both communities, that is the affluent and the marginalized communities, we constantly see the cry for help. It's one thing for us to assume that everybody just goes to school and gets the hang of it and gets to understand that it's not enough to get one skill and it's not enough to sit and wait for jobs. And obviously, as you know it's a gig economy. The unemployment rate has gone to the roof and much more. It's a global issue, besides the fact that sub-Saharan Africa seems to be significantly affected. Botswana is not exempted from this issue. And we all understand the social ills that come along with this unemployment. So this is what we're constantly trying to see. Can we support the government, the policymakers, the child at home who is losing interest in education as they see their siblings who've gone through education but they didn't get employed? And specifically, that person that has been able to go through school, it could be high school, but they're still struggling with unemployment. So that is a critical concern to us. So we have a program we run that specifically takes care of the age group between 16 up to 25. We constantly emphasize on some specific learning methodologies like project-based learning. So students come together, they come to our center. We have a little bit of a virtual element in it, but we love it when students come and they do it in person. So it depends on what they're working on. It can be 60 days, it can be 90 days, sometimes it can be 6 months program. But this is sort of a program that preps them to face the world, to face the future, which besides the mentorship, the grooming, the career guidance, that age of from 16, they're starting to have their own minds, their own bills, their own needs, and they can see the struggles from their homes. They can see the reality hitting home, and they can be very disgruntled. And it's also a very sensitive age because if we don't catch them at that point, that's where then we get the social ills creeping into the society. So in this case, what we're focusing on, we do research and we try to focus on life has become super dynamic. We constantly have something else that we need to change. But we have our core key principles that we always stick to, which is we socially make sure that these kids can be able to stand on their own. So we focus on soft skills. So 80% of our training is soft skills. And then 20% is where we integrate with technology, we integrate with personal branding. So they need to learn something about digital marketing. They can select, it can be focusing on artificial intelligence, coding, 3D printing, robotics. So those are conversations we have with them, but they come together and do a project, which this project is specifically focusing on solve a problem existing within your community. So a lot of our young people, what they lack is direction. They are super talented. They can be able to come up with profitable ways of just making sure that they have little side hustles as they wait to go to college. And some of them, this is when a lot of businesses are born. They start working on something, they transition to university when they're still having their side hustle. And we've also seen others that straight up start creating employment. We also get some university graduates. These are kids who have already gone through the formal schooling, they have a degree, they have a diploma, they have a certificate on this and that, but they're still stuck at home with what else can I do? So we have brainstorming sessions. We also work on job shadowing for them. We assist them sort of integrate into the society and get to know somebody to hold them and create that opportunity that they so badly need. One thing we've seen, we don't have a shortage of talent. Where we have a shortage of, there's a skills gap. With that unemployment that we're facing, it has a lot to do with skill gap because we still have spaces that we can't fill up. We still have, especially within the STEM space, we still have shortage of doctors, shortage of engineers. But then also you get to see we can't align. There's a shortage of skills. And others could even be professionals in specific cases or specific areas, but then they lack soft skills. So you find that they're also not employable. So this makes youth feel overwhelmed when they don't know where to start, they don't know what to do. There's a huge scarcity of the access to laptops, mentorship, and real world exposure. Having worked with thousands of youth within the continent, I've worked with university graduates who have no idea where to start with social media platforms. These sometimes could be graduates from computer science, and they're still clueless. They don't have mentors. There are no systems in place for them to be able to know there's something else I can do. I can sit here and create a website for somebody who is in Canada, for somebody who's in Europe, somebody who's in the US. I don't have to be there, and I can meet these people by the use of digital platforms. So we're looking at how can we change this narrative? How can we support them? So we have a 60 days transformational program specifically for that age group 16 to 25, where they focus on soft skills and then we look at skills in demand. When this time we did a survey 2 months ago, and 99% when I asked them, where do you want to join the program? What do you want to learn? They came up with cybersecurity. I'm super excited about that. I think right now it's actually very irresponsible for us to have our children, our youth, not having some skills on cybersecurity. It is not just for your personal good, but it's also for you to be ready to meet the world as is. So we've had great success. 8% of our students are either employed or running a business or leading in some school. There's actually a time we were accused of we are grooming politicians. That's very funny. Somebody accused us of you are grooming politicians because what happens is when they do like high school students, they come and join our program, they learn to be assertive. So they get their leadership skills, they build their confidence, they build their creativity, their communication skills, and their problem solving skills. So what happens? When they get to university, they join the students' leadership body. So constantly we find the person who is leading this team is a graduate from our program, be it debate club, who is a champion there, be it somebody who is running some business at school, it's one of our former students. So this, we've seen it, that element of coaching them, spending time with them constantly doing, reach out to mentors and seriously focusing and working on problem solving skills, communication skills, makes them assertive, make them get future ready. We've seen just not just high school kids, but we've even seen it with graduates. We've trained university graduates who were just home doing nothing. But from there, they started their own boot camps, they started their own hackathons, and others went for white collar jobs and were employed. So there's a lot to do with that element of speaking, learning how to speak, learning how to negotiate, getting super skilled in public speaking. So you go for a job and you know how to ask for that job. It is so important. Can you meet your current employer or your future employer and be able to walk out of that office with, I can get this job. And if I don't get, I have very good reasons why I didn't get that job. These are some of the things that you find at school. Students may not be taught, they may not be aware. So here is the course breakdown and skills we call skills for success. What they need to learn and they need to understand for them to face the future. Digital marketing. At this day and age, if your business is not online, you're not in business. So it is of paramount importance for every person to build your brand. You're a brand as a person. Be it for your own business, be it for your future employer. So we make sure they master how to use Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, which I'm a big fan of LinkedIn, and I have seen the potential of that platform. So how do you set up your page? How do you optimize it? How do you interact with people? How do you build your social currency? We train them as well how to build sales funnels. How do you do lead generation? What strategies do you need to use? How do you target a specific audience? How do you build your personal website and optimize it? Search engine optimization, very critical. Those are skills that literally by the time you're graduating, you should be knowing those. You should be building a brand on your own. And it doesn't necessarily have to be because you are marketing something. You can just market yourself and you can build a personal website just for you, whoever, how beautiful it is. Sometimes when I'm recruiting, especially for marketing jobs, I get so impressed when somebody applies to come and work for us, digital marketing, anything in marketing, and they send me a link to their website. Straight up, I just have some admiration. Or I check you out, and the first thing I do is, obviously, the first thing, and I'm sure so many employers do this, the first thing I do is I check your social media pages because I'm hiring you to help us with our digital marketing. How are you going to help me if you don't have a presence yourself? So I'll check on your LinkedIn page. I'll see if there's a nice profile picture, how you've done, how you're interacting with people, who do you talk to? I'll check on your TikTok. And what I see you posting tells me a lot about your personality. I'll also check on your Facebook page and your IG. So this is so important. You need to build your brand. You need to be that person that society respects. You walk into a room and somebody goes like, I know this person. This person is a community person. This person respects himself. This person pays it forward. So it doesn't have to be you're on social media because you're promoting something. We all have something we wake up and do. You can talk about that. Talk about the skills you're building. Talk about your school. And just get there with the heart to give. Don't get on it with what am I getting out of this? No. Share your skills. Help others. And that way you find you create a community, you create a tribe. Then, of course, at this time and age, we wouldn't talk about training students, upskilling them without so much focusing on AI, artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence has become a game changer. I run a small entity, it's a social enterprise. I struggle with anybody that I come across now when I'm recruiting and they tell me they don't know ChatGPT. I don't have a problem you not knowing how to use it. But which world are you living in if you don't know AI? Which we obviously associate ChatGPT now with the AI. It automates your processes. It gives you so many tools that make your work so easy. And it doesn't have to be just ChatGPT. It's any model that you can choose to use. So streamlining your workflows, just positioning yourself there where you can discover other AI-driven solutions that can enhance your productivity and decision making makes your life so easy. So this is something we teach them from prompt engineering to so many other tools they can use and to how they can themselves create their own AI agents. These are skills that could earn them employment, or at least even they can be able to create their own jobs by having those skills. Then e-commerce as well, it's a very, very important skill to have. You need to learn how to set up and manage your online stores, implement effective strategies that can be able to drive traffic. You also have to master sales techniques to maximize revenue and customer satisfaction. So you've seen it every day. I actually saw it, I think, a few days ago in our parents' WhatsApp group. Parents were complaining. What is happening to our supermarkets? That we could be among the few countries in Africa that we still go to supermarkets. Why can't we get apps that we can shop online? So think about that. I've seen, like, in South Africa, in Kenya, in Tanzania, people don't go to the supermarket, leave alone US. I'm not going to talk about those first world. I'll just focus on Africa and still say we don't. We've stopped going to supermarkets. So, and that's the gap where opportunities, entrepreneurship is where you see a problem and you come up with a solution. So if you can learn how to do that, you build an app, you go to Choppies or you go to any supermarket and tell them, look at this. This is going to enhance productivity. This will increase your sales. So can you imagine, rather than going from aisle to aisle in a supermarket, you're able to check what you need, your groceries, you place an order, and they're dropped at your doorstep. That is some high level empowerment. We're looking at enhancing productivity so we can spend less time working and spend much more time on our wellness with our families, relaxing, focusing on our health, doing things that we love rather than doing repetitive work. So, an e commerce skill is a skill that our youth leave our spaces having known. Then let's look at soft skills. You have to develop confidence, public speaking skills. So you'll need to craft a compelling personal brand that resonates with your target audience and build a strong professional network to unlock new opportunities. That can only be done if you can focus on your communication skills, collaboration skills, creativity, and critical thinking. Let's have youth that are not intimidated or scared of speaking out, facing anybody that they need to face, because a lot of successful entrepreneurs, one big skill they have is communication. They know how to communicate. It is so important. So this is a skill that we make sure within those 2 months, we're seeing a difference. You have improved. You are a better human. You can be able to negotiate your way out in life. Then, of course, mentorship, it's so critical. We all need that one person that we go to and listen to and exchange ideas. So we link them up with mentors. Then, of course, we give them projects. They work on a project together. We do project-based learning. So we give them a particular project that they solve together. And within that, they create, it could be like recently we had a hackathon that was on climate action. A few months ago, we had floods in Botswana. So like 3 months ago or something like that, that was actually threatening our livelihood. We had quite a number of people displaced. So we created a hackathon and we told high school students, can you come up with a solution to floods? So similar cases. The difference is this particular group, they work in groups of 5, but they come up with a themselves that they need to solve within their community. And we've seen students come up with a problem that we actually go ahead and create an IP for it because it's mind-boggling. We've seen them come up with real life solutions that you can patent and scale it up. We are very lucky to be surrounded by partners that support that. So when youth, especially university graduates, they come up with something that you go like, this is world class. We did a project with graduates in Zanzibar, and they came up with projects that when we called like the Minister of Communication, the Minister of Energy, they looked at the Minister of Entrepreneurship, they looked at that when they came in as judges and they were like, this needs to be scaled up. So at that point, then we link them up with organizations that can now assist them to build a startup. So there's now a specific program they go through where how can you start working on this startup? How can you get funding? How can we expose this to the world, package it, and scale it up on a bigger scale? And it's a game changer. We've seen it. Our youth sit with a lot of solutions for problems they're facing. All they need is that platform, an enabling environment, access to tools. We still have youth that are they would want to, but they have no access to internet, they have no access to training, they have no laptops. They don't have the infrastructure that they can do anything. And when you sit at this day and age with no access to internet, no access to laptop or even a smartphone, your opportunities can be super limited. Or even a community that is supporting you, that every day is telling you, keep pushing, let's try this and that. So we've seen those interventions, just an enabling environment. They come every day, they interact with their peers, and then when they're done with the projects, we link them up to industries. This also is an opportunity for them to sort of discover themselves. What is your talent? What is your gift? What is your passion? What can we focus on? Where is your why? We all have a gift. We were put on this earth with a specific gift. But some of us, we go gray, we retire without having known this is what I was meant to do. So if you can create that environment, then they can go like, oh, I didn't know I can play piano because a piano was presented in front of them. Oh, I didn't know I can actually program. I didn't know I'm so good at that. I didn't know I can fly a drone. So those just creating that enabling environment makes a huge difference. And we've seen a lot of success stories from that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm just gonna do a quick shout out. I see we have my community from LinkedIn. Hey, Selassie. Selassie says, good day, everyone. Thanks for the enlightenment. Most welcome, Selassie. Selassie has been a huge supporter of our programs. He is based in Ghana. He is a financial advisor. I think he's an auditor within the government in Ghana. And his heart beats youth. His youth, of course, but he's been very, very supportive. He's one of our mentor, he's one of our trainer, and always comes in support whenever we have a project. Then I can see my little brother called Amos Onyango. Amos is super gifted, super bright, and I'll associate a lot of that with him having worked extensively with one of Africa's big professors. He worked with Professor, look at me, Amos. I've forgotten the name of your professor. You can put on the comment section. Prof. My goodness. Okay, I've forgotten. He's one of the most famous professors we have within the continent. Sort of a civil rights speaker, very outspoken, always calling out when people are not doing the right thing. Yeah, Professor Lumumba. So Amos has worked extensively and has been mentored by Professor Lumumba. And you can clearly see this is somebody who was mentored, looking at how he runs his business. He's also been a big part of our program. And Amos is one of our big success stories. He's running his own social enterprise in Kenya, where he teaches marginalized communities, men and women, how to make world-class bags. He creates bags that they scale up, they take to the market. He will ship to Europe, he ships to US with African print, some world-class job that I've seen Amos do. And he's very young. I don't think Amos is 30, he could be 29 or 28 there. But he's able to earn his living. He is actually in a position where now he creates employment, he's hired people. And this is what we are looking at. How can we prepare our youth to be in a position to create jobs? Tanita Langley, Senior Education Consultant. Well, it's morning here. Hi, Tonitia. Thank you so much for saying hello. Good morning to you. Yeah, that could be in the US. You're most welcome. Welcome to our program. Thank you. You're joining us from Facebook or you're on LinkedIn or you're on YouTube. Please tell us where you're joining us from. If you have any questions, I am happy to respond. Unfortunately, I'm in the studio alone today and I can only see messages from LinkedIn. But after the session, I'll get on the other social media platforms and I will respond to all your questions. So here we are, real students, stories, impact and income. We have a lot of cases that we can mention. Karabo has been very successful with what he's done. He actually joined us. He mastered social media marketing. He started his agency. He is making very good money. We have Lerato as well. He became a freelancer. He develops websites. He's based in South Africa and he's making money. Some of these skills, you learn the skill, you keep on polishing, you keep on getting better, and you don't specifically have to work with your local community. So, like Lerato does a lot of social media management for organizations or partners in the US or in Europe, who specifically, obviously, when you look at our local realities, what somebody's going to pay you in rands or in pula in our local currency could be 10 times what somebody will pay you when you're talking about US dollars. So the last time I tried to engage Lerato, the quotation I got, I went like, well done, Lerato. This is what you're doing, which we encourage them. Go out there. Right now, Lerato has hired 3 people that he's supervising. And that's what we call paying forward. She's able to create employment and support others. Then, when you look at our alumni outcomes, university leadership roles, yes, we have most of our students that become university leaders. They get internships. We constantly try our best and make sure we get them internships, which obviously, even without us putting in a good word for them, how they present themselves after going through the program, straight up they get taken for internship. And then, of course, starting profitable side hustles as they study. University time can be really, really daunting, especially right now where within the continent, a lot of countries are struggling to fund universities. So you find the students' loans that existed are no longer there or they're delays, they don't get them on time. And still, it's a loan, you still need to pay it back. Now, I have so much pride and gratitude when I see one of our very, very successful students who actually joined us. I think he was 17. He was very shy, he could not look at me in the eyes. Within a month, I started paying attention to him because I saw leadership. He now sits in our board, Destination Imagination Botswana. He's a board member. He's now 23. Last year, he came to our center driving. And I went like, what? He says, yeah, I bought this car. He's running a public speaking company. He's one of those persons that always comes to support us every now and again. And I know whenever I have a project and he shows up, I don't need to worry about being in that space because he is so skilled. He is so professional. He's very, very good with project management. He has people skills. He's a great communicator and he knows how to get along with people. This is somebody that I will not be surprised if I see him as a president of Botswana in the next 5 to 10 years. I would not leave alone a minister. That is, to me, that's like given. That's like given. So now this is our invitation to action. Join us. Join us. We'll be having a lot of sessions. We have another live session tomorrow where we'll be interviewing some of our students and get to know what exactly we're talking about. You can also book a session where we can do a one-on-one and take you through specifically what we do. We are open for collaborations. Like we always get invited by other communities. I do a lot of work in other parts of the continent. I've actually had an invitation to Grenada. I'm hoping that gets confirmed soon. So we go to other countries where we come and train your youth. Sometimes we run a boot camp, or we train your team so that you can start running these programs within your community. We also encourage graduates or educators or even parents who are doing homeschooling, start these programs within your communities. You're not just making some extra income, but you are supporting somebody's life gets better through your efforts. So we request for collaborate with us, talk to us, put it on the comment section. If I will send you more information, we can schedule a call where then I can give you baby steps, I can coach you on how you can start on your own. And then, of course, you might have a young person just sitting at home, waiting to go to university, still undecided about career choices, or just trying to figure it out. Bring them to us. We have a team that does it virtually. However, we love emphasizing on in person because Um, I think with COVID, we got tired of doing things virtually. So when it's in person, it is more intense. You work as a team, you build, and you come up with real life solutions. It's much more engaging. So your future starts now. Let's get it going. Let's start this program. Let's launch within your community. And if you're not ready to launch within your community, join us, join our program. There'll be a lot of live sessions that you can get to be a part of, get to appreciate and see how we do it. And maybe through that, you can learn and start on your own. So I'll be happy to respond to any of your questions. Either ways, I'm going to say a big, big thank you. Thank you, Selassie, Amos, Tonitia. Thank you for all your questions and for supporting this movement. Let's build the Africa we want. Change begins with you and me. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the holiday. Goodbye.